My name is Ashley Patterson, and I'm so honored to be invited here today to talk about Cricket Australia and the Australian Cricketers Association and the recent scandal with Cameron Bancroft and how he tampered with the ball. Cameron Bancroft was caught tampering with a ball on live television by rubbing sandpaper on it to give the ball a greater swing. Now, this does apply an unfair advantage to his team and an unfair disadvantage to the other team because they didn't know what was happening, and his team was able to get a greater swing on the ball that their team wasn't able to get. The Cricket Australia took this extremely seriously when they found out. Cricket Australia was established in 1892 and is the governing body of cricket in Australia. They have the most overall wins and the greatest win-to-lose ratio. So when they found out about this, they gave Cameron Bancroft and the captains associated with it multiple month suspension, as well as the captains, some of them not being able to have leadership positions in Cricket Australia in the future. Some people think this was a bit harsh, like the Australian Cricketers Association. The Australian Cricketers Association is a union for Australian professional cricketers. They challenged the fairness by saying, well, social media played too harsh of a role and that ball tampering isn't as insane or as bad as they're leading it out to be. Yes, does it still deserve punishment? 100% is cheating, but not as harsh as the Cricket Australia is leading it out to be. People like Graeme Swann and Andrew Flintoff, who are ex-England players, have given their own 2 cents. Graeme Swann said that Cricket Australia has to play such a harsh punishment because they are higher than high and have been around for so long. They need to keep setting these very high standards of the sport and the no cheating rules. Andrew Flintoff believes that if you're going to punish one player for cheating, you need to punish multiple players because there's a chance that multiple players did know about this, not just the people who cheated. And if you're going to punish people, you need to punish them fairly. Well, that leads me into talking about the mutual interests of Australian Cricketers Association and the Cricket Australia. Cricket Australia has to view cricket as a whole, their entire industry, everyone in it, not just individual players, compared to Australian Cricketers Association, who votes or focuses more on individual players and their rights and their well interests. But everyone has a mutual interest in cricket and the sport itself, keeping the sport fair. When a sport is fair, more people are going to watch it, more people are going to be involved, and they all make livelihoods off of cricket and need people to be attending games, need people to keep wanting to put their kids in cricket, make the players still want to play, and to do that, they got to keep cricket fair. I believe there are some communication techniques that would allow cricket to stay fair and keep punishing their players fairly while making sure that everyone is happy about the kinds of punishments that are happening. I believe that if Cricket Australia communicated with the Australian Cricketers Association and the cricket players with their strict guidelines beforehand, then issues like this wouldn't happen. For example, if I know that if I go 10 over the speed limit, I'm going to face a year in jail, then I can't really get that mad when I get put into jail for a year for going 10 over the speed limit. I knew that was the outcome of me breaking the rules. So there's no arguing it. It is how it is. Very strictly laid out. Yes, I might still think it's unfair, but I really can't argue with it too much because it's already been told to me. I believe that if Cricket Australia had strict guidelines and strict suspensions, how many months it was going to be prior to the ball tampering incident, that social media and the association, the Australian Cricketers Association, couldn't really get as mad as they got because they were already informed about everything that happened. So just clear communication about what kind of standards they have and how they are going to address every rule break, I think it would be very important. The next thing I believe is that they need to negotiate about how they are going to punish things like this. They need to get together and talk about what degree of punishment needs to be for something like ball tampering. How bad is ball tampering compared to other types of cheating scandals, and how they're going to be addressed individually. Yes, everyone's not going to be as happy. There is going to have to be a win-lose or win-win, such as the interrogative bargaining. negotiation where some people are going to have to give up a little bit to get something. The Australian Cricket Association might still think that Cricket Australia is being too harsh, while Cricket Australia thinks they're being too lenient. So they can find a middle ground, and everyone can be happy for the most part about what kind of punishments they have for the future for things such as ball tampering. And lastly, I'm going to be talking about the factors that I think need to be managed so that they can keep from having these kind of conflicts in the future. I think the biggest factor that went into the Cameron Bancroft scandal was social media. To keep social media a bit out of cricket, yes, everyone's going to end up finding out about rule breaks and finding out about the punishments, but I think there needs to be a delay in it. While Cameron Bancroft was caught on national television, which isn't exactly ideal, in the future, if they have these set guidelines and already set punishments for each rule break, then social media isn't really able to have much of a factor in what kind of punishments that the players are going to get, because it's already written out in stone what each player is going to be faced with depending on what rule they broke. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and it was such an honor. Thanks.